right, we're back in our new unedited format. It's raw. This is like running it back raw, unedited, straight into your ears. Tarlin, how you doing today?
You're old, fantastic. I just want to congratulate you. One, we do this every year. It's before we even hit summer. The Mets are #1 in all of Major League Baseball, best record. But
So used to dominating.
That's gonna stick, right?
Gets
so
old,
30
dominating so much.
30 games, and only 9 losses. Congrats.
Thank you. I thought you were going to congratulate me on the Knicks being up 3-1.
Hold on, let me go. Let me finish. Is it my turn? Is it your turn?
I don't know. I mean, I guess.
All right, just give me a moment. Give me a minute. Give me a minute.
Please.
Knicks are up 3-1. I mean, definitely Josh Hart definitely didn't foul Hardaway on that 3-point shot.
Apparently he did foul and we still won. So you're welcome. Yes,
and apparently Luka wasn't tripped in the backcourt with 33 seconds left, which should have been a foul, which would have put the Lakers up 1. We're down 3. But congrats. And for the first time since 1999, you can close out a series on your home court. Think about that. But since 1999.
You're trying to jinx us. So that's fine. I mean, we're recording this in advance of the Knicks closeout game. I've been saying Knicks in 5. I feel very fortunate because we did steal a couple, some with help of the officiating. Sure, we'll take it. Great teams. It's the Leprechaun, as much as I'm not a Celtics fan, like there are times when great teams get lucky. Unfortunately, the Lakers don't look particularly fortunate this time. You never know. You never know, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're looking for lessons learned from what's happening in the world around us. And the thing that everybody's talking about is the precipitous fall, the almost biblical dimensions. I know Deion, his dad, is big on quoting scripture. There is some biblical elements, some challenges. Is Shedeur Sanders the Eric Bieniemy of quarterback draft picks? I don't know. Where do you want to go with this?
I hadn't heard that he fell. It wasn't news at all. I'd never seen. I actually, Mel Kiper's been around for a long time. For those who watch the draft, he does draft experts. He will throughout the year. He does a great job.
Yeah,
picking players. I've never seen him lose his shit like he lost his shit.
Between him and Ballmer at Clippers games, I feel like I'm about to witness a cardiac event of some kind.
So even my daughter got an alert who does a pulse force. Like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
That was like, what does 144 mean?
Right.
Does it mean anything? Why do I care? That was the question.
Yeah. I mean, it's 12 squared. I mean, is a simple answer,
+2. That was where he went. But
144. No. 144, right?
Oh, 144. There you go. Sorry. Like,
12 squared. I got a 6-year-old at home. I gotta get my times tables organized. We're not editing. No, that's going out. Your so-called Harvard education.
11 times, so it's the 132 plus the 12, and I just
right.
I mixed that.
This is where, by the way, we're just focus grouping. Fun with math spinoff. Fun with math.
No one said there'd be math. So for those under rock, Shedeur Sanders expected to be a first-round pick. Could slip to the second round. Was 3rd or 4th in the Heisman.
Yeah.
Was top 5 in Mel Kiper's best available prospects.
Yeah.
He expected there are 4 quarterback needy teams. Tennessee took Cam Ward with the first pick.
Yeah.
Cleveland, which is a hot mess. Deshaun likes massages. Watson, he's got old man Joe Flacco, and you have Kenny Two-Glove Pickett. That is in the quarterback room. Deshaun will play.
Right.
Chili's. And I feel for anyone that tears their Chili's.
Shout out to Dave.
Team Todd.
Yeah.
Feel for him. So they're needy.
Yeah.
Saints, who Derek Carr may not play in 2025, and they have 1 5th-round Spencer Rattler and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, don't forget the New York Football Giants.
Okay, and then the New York Football Giants and the Steelers, who are in this on again, off again, waiting for Aaron Rodgers to get out of his quiet retreat.
Yeah,
and whatever he's doing to figure out whether he's going to complete
like a Beckett play. Yeah, very existential. Yeah,
and they no longer have Fields, who has a 2-year $40 million.
He's got to the greener fields of East Rutherford to play for the New York Jets.
There you go. And Russell Wilson. So he falls to the 5th round. And everyone wants to know why.
Why?
So let's just deal with some of the stats. We like looking at stats. We start
college stats.
Oh, yeah, college stats. But also we've done this in the past when we did Justin Fields. And we're looking at his draft slide as the NFL prospect stats. So they have a number that they roll up saying, what is the value of this? So 8 would be the perfect prospect.
Right.
I looked at sort of where Shedeur fell in 2025 and then also look back at 2024 just to compare.
Yeah.
So Cam Ward, number 1 pick, was a 6.31.
Okay.
Right? Which means eventually be a plus starter.
Yeah.
Shedeur was a 6.3.
Okay.
Just literally right behind Cam.
Yeah.
So everyone else that went before, the other guys that went before Shedeur, Jackson Dart, 6.17.
Yeah.
New York Giants.
Right.
Get them. So they're no longer quarterback needy. Tyler
Shaw. Yeah.
26-year-old Tyler Shaw.
Yeah.
Played for numerous teams, 6.16.
Right.
Seems to be less. Dylan Gabriel. He's played for like 9 teams. He's a diminutive. I think I said it.
I knew where you're going to go.
Lefty, strong arm.
Yeah.
Grinder. Played for Oregon, their number 1 team in the nation, 6.10. And
Right.
Galen Milroe at one point was a 6.14.
Mm-hmm.
So you would think if you go off the NFL prospect sheet that there's a comment.
Yeah, just a point of clarification there. Is there an interview component of that score?
Hold on. We're going to go.
Just curious.
No, this is all what they see on the field. They do have hand size. So, there's some
tape.
quarterbacks.
This is like go to the tape and the combine.
9 and 3/8. He has a 9 and 3/8 hand size. Fine.
Yeah.
He's 6'1.5". He's not short. So he can see over the line.
Sure.
Just to give you a comparison, better quarterback class, 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round of 2024.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams, 6.74.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels, 6.73.
Got it.
JJ McCarthy, 6.4. Bo Nix, 6.39. And
so like
6.25. It's a
nobody gets to a 7, even though it's graded on.
No one gets to a 7, but these guys are better.
But you want to at least be a 6.
This is not Andrew Luck. This is not those type of prospects.
Yeah.
So if you look at that, say, all right, he's in the swim lane.
Yeah.
He should be looked at as one of those top quarterbacks. The other thing you look at, we start pilot a piece there. So it's not just that NFL prospect. And one of the things that evaluators would say is probably the hardest thing to do is to figure out this position. There have been a lot of whiffs.
Mm-hmm.
As we know, Zach Wilson, we like to compare Zach Wilson, number 3 pick on the Jets, against Justin Fields. We just couldn't figure it out, and the draft ratings fit it. Let's look at rushing. So the NFL has changed, right?
Yeah.
It is they're looking for dual threat quarterbacks.
Yeah.
The only person with negative rushing yards in his college career last year was Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah. Jackson can dart around.
Jackson. Cam Ward, 204 yards rushing. Jackson Dart, 495. Tyler, we got to figure out how to say his name. 19. Yeah. Dylan Gabriel, 149. And then Jalen Moreau is the dual threat. 726 yards. Okay.
Yeah.
So we say, all right, he doesn't have the same physical tools. He ran a 4.68 at his Colorado combine.
Yeah.
Not the 4.25 that his father ran.
Still a scooch faster than Luka.
Still raw.
Yeah.
I was texting. I said, I know he is an all-world bucket getter.
Yeah.
I have a hard time. He complains after every play.
Yeah.
I've never seen him get in a defensive stance.
No. Not to mention, Ant is like, you would never see Luka pushing up on LeBron like that if he was on the other team. Like, that's some competitive monologue.
They said Ant is collecting all the Infinity Stones. He took out Durant last year. He's took out LeBron.
Exactly.
He take out Curry. And those are the 3 dudes that he had quarter gold. Like, he's he will.
Well, I think he might also need to take out.
Took out Joker last year, too.
He might need to take out SGA, which I don't know if he's ready.
That's fine. But if he takes the ball out, then that is pure, let's take out on the Avengers, that pure Infinity Stone.
He's the only guy who could really take over this playoff.
That is the dude, especially because, and also you love watching Julius Randle go off. Okay, anyways.
We're trying not to talk too much about NBA.
We're getting distracted.
Yeah.
So the question about Shedeur, what started to come out is, and I watched 3 games last year because I was buying into, I like the Colorado hype. I wanted to see, I want to see Travis Hunter play. He holds on the ball a long time, so he's a tough kid.
Yeah, didn't have much of a line in front of him.
Nope, slide in the pocket, but he never threw the ball away. So that was one of the knocks in. All right, so there's, you can go here or there. So maybe he gets the second round, third round. So then we keep going, peeling back down, and why? Didn't have an agent.
Yes.
Deion was not his agent, but yet he was an influence. And so let's think about what Shedeur's trajectory has been. He went to HBCU and Jackson State, turn around that program. It's a place where Deion and sure had agency, where he can create and drive the narrative. Then he goes to Colorado, he jumps up. And of course, in 2 years, he definitely deserves to have his name in the Ring of Honor in Colorado. His jersey.
Along with Eric Bieniemy, perhaps?
And Cordell Stewart. But he broke all passing records. And so he, once again, though, is in an environment where Deion controlled the narrative, and he's playing for his dad.
And they exceeded expectations, I think, is the other part of the narrative.
Well, they exceeded expectations. So huge.
Very low expectations, but exceeded them.
No knock. Especially where they came from. They then approached what is a years old draft, still believing in my head that they can control that narrative.
Yeah.
A lot of players don't.
I think there's something about pride goeth, right?
A lot of players may not actually work out the combine, but didn't work out the combine.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything at the, I guess he wasn't a senior. No, he's a senior. Didn't do anything at the Senior Bowl. So just had his Colorado Pro Day.
Right.
And they made a point to say during the combine, he was super supportive of the other athletes trying out and wanted to be there and show up for his teammates. So he's a good teammate.
Yeah.
Where the rub was, and I call it sort of, we've talked about generations. It's that Gen Z millennial mindset. It was like that first time when on the president of an organization or company, an employee who just starts wants to have lunch with me after being there for 2 weeks because they want to talk about it.
Is this a story about the people genius or like what?
No,
okay. It's hypothetical.
But what I read, because all we can do is interpret. What I read is Shedeur went in with these primetime executives who are having to oversee billion-dollar franchises, going to interview the executives as much as they were interviewing him.
Yeah.
So he was putting himself on equal footing.
Yeah. I've heard, I think it was The Athletic who didn't really include much beyond the headline, but it was a good headline, was that Shedeur was treating these interviews like they were recruiting visits as opposed to him being interviewed for the job of quarterback.
It's called a draft for a reason. They're looking at you, stand here, watch Tom Brady run a super slow 40, like all that, because they have all the control. It's called the not for long league.
Yeah.
Because you will be in the league not for long. They have they have guaranteed contract. They have 7-year contracts. There's only 10 million guaranteed because you may only be here for a year.
Yeah.
So when I brought
about the shield. It's all about the shield.
Yes. So I brought up Deion. He wasn't an agent, but he also, within the family, they still thought they had an ability to drive the narrative. You and I have going back and forth. Lonzo Ball.
Yes.
He comped this to the
immediately
the
who I went to.
He was able to drive the narrative. What helped was Lonzo was LeVar driving narrative. Lonzo was all world for UCLA, took him to deep heights in the March Madness. LaMelo, even though he had a non-traditional path, was all world. And you know what happened? He couldn't drive the narrative for LiAngelo. He just wasn't good enough.
Right.
But what happened was once both of them were drafted, LeVar went away.
Yeah.
And the kids had to be kids. Now, you can also compare it to someone everyone believes drove the narrative for Bronny.
Yes.
So
this is where we're doing an early version. This was going to be our Father's Day.
I know we're doing Father's Day. We're going to get
too much.
It's all right. Could it be Bronny? Well, Bronny, like LeBron can only drive so much. Bronny was a McDonald's All-American. Then he had a heart issue. He averaged 3 points for USC. Most people didn't think he'd get drafted. He got his chance. And
he got affirmative nepotism as opposed to Shedeur, who had some negative nepotism going on.
So the issue is some of the issue, I think, is just the thought that that Shedeur thought that he was on this, literally sitting side by side with these owners and these executives, believing that he could dictate where he's going to go.
Yeah.
This is not an Eli Manning, Arch Manning scenario. And people are trying to claim Ray said, oh, they were able to do that. But also Eli and Arch had an agent that was also driving that, working on behalf to try to dictate where he's going to go.
Right.
San Diego versus New York. So I removed that from the equation.
You got to play the game. You got to play the game, Tarlin. When you're getting interviewed, it's an interview and you got to perform. And like they've been showing some of these, I'll be happy when Brian Daboll's out of New York, but they do like to show how tough his interview is, where he's trying to get him to say the right words and, you know, understand how to call a play because he's such a great mind. I find Daboll kind of tough to deal with because I feel like he's more about him than he is about the player he's developing.
Daboll has a punchable face.
He does. Yeah.
So then let's next level. He also supposedly was only interviewing with certain teams that were in the top 10. So he was, once again, I'm only, this is who I am. Last is, okay, let's remove all that. Now it's about show, don't tell. So if you have an interview, someone has their resume, oh, it looks great. Looks like you can do all this stuff. But practically, instead of what the words are saying, I don't care what school you went to, a little bit of H-bomb. I don't care what school you went to.
Yeah.
What can you practically do? And supposedly what we're hearing is when he was doing whiteboarding, and Daboll's one of them, he did not perform. He didn't prep. He was not able to actually, in real time, recall plays and actually make adjustments. And that is the practical, like, hey, how are you going to receive it? And I think when he got pushed, remember his coach has only been his dad.
Yeah.
For years. When he got pushed, he didn't respond well.
Yeah. Because Tarlin, you know, the number one ability, availability, the number two ability, coachability.
I mean,
you know,
can you next time we got to write some of this down?
No, we get transcripts.
Maybe I'll say
technology. It all turns into transcript.
It turns into and then it gets released, and I can listen to it back.
Turns into a meme.
19 minutes in, I'll just know where it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So knowing all that, and we often like to compare it to. So who is the quarterback? Obviously, there's CEOs, owners, but actually, the QB1 is your CEO. It's the person that you're looking to.
It's kind of like the heir apparent, maybe, that coming in as a draft pick, like
president. But so here's where I was going to go. Deion, can be all world, can be outlandish, outrageous.
Yeah.
To me, it's like the sales guy who is crushing his numbers.
Right.
All right. You're going to crush your numbers. You're going to do some crazy stuff. But he's not the one that everyone is looking at to create calm, to make sure everyone's going the same direction. So you have your QB1, who even though it's on one side of the ball, the whole team, it's the person who has the ball more than anyone on the field, is not responding well to the coach, lacks humility when you're looking for humility, don't get beat up. Then it just sends a signal like, all right, I don't know if I want to bring that into my culture.
For sure.
This is not about Shedeur's talent. I think I struggle with, sure, he can get the arm strength. It's just whether or not he's willing to be humble.
Yeah.
Showed when he dropped the 5th round, he just is so excited to get drafted. I think that's real.
It seemed genuine.
But will he show up and be ready potentially to be a backup?
Right.
Or and if yes, great. Where I start to question the NFL, I would question the NFL if for some reason, let's say he does not make the Browns team, and that's the easiest team probably to make.
Yeah.
If no one picks him up to be a backup, looking at all these backups out there, there's a problem.
Then it's Kaepernick.
The people are talking about race and you're someone who is demonstrative and confident black man, you're holding him down.
Right.
That's different.
Yeah.
But this was a wake-up call. Like, no, this is arbitrary. You may not be, you're not guaranteed to get in just because your dad got in.
Right.
You did not perform when you need you to perform, which is in front of us.
Yeah.
You got bad advice.
You didn't kiss the ring. You didn't bend the knee.
Kiss the ring.
Yeah.
And when all that happens, we can't overlook then that you can't drive the ball as well as a Jackson Dart. You're not actually that fast. You're not dual threat. who had negative rushing yards. Then, when all that happens, they start to look at, oh, here are the weaknesses. Yeah. If none of that was there, then you elevate. He's a second, third rounder. You overlook that. You get drafted when Dylan Gabriel gets drafted. Because there's no way Dylan Gabriel's a winner that you think that he comes Gabriel, if you follow the prospect stats for NFL, is a 6.10. So that to me is the difference. And that's the difference. You hire someone.
For sure. Well, but that's sort of reflective of how they make decisions as a family. Like, it's the Deion effect, two ways. One is, like you were saying, Deion as a player was more like Travis Hunter. And he was more transcendent, and he thinks his son is just like him. Just like LeBron, I think at times might think Bronny's more like him than he actually is, even though I think he realizes
LeBron was a little more humble. He was just hoping for him to get a chance.
Yeah. So you're saying
for him to get a chance to work.
There's a chance.
You're saying,
but I think there is a chance now that he's landed somewhere, and where he landed, a lot of the draft and a lot of the way we think about the NFL now is sort of like a reality TV show. It is like Hard Knocks. And now if you're thinking about what is the QB competition going to look like this summer, assuming people don't get moved before then, I think that's pretty compelling. There's some real narratives to kind of get behind here. And, he now gets to come in with a chip on his shoulder, and he's got to prove people wrong. He's got to actually win it. He's not going to get it handed to him. He's actually got to win the position. And then if he does, the upside for Cleveland with the defense that they have, at least, Shedeur does strike me as the upside is that he would be a good decision maker as a quarterback, ironically, because I think a lot of people don't think that way right now. But I do think and he can also handle the stage. I don't think he shies away from big events, and now it's more, what does he do coming out of it? I also think he's, the other aspect of the Deion effect here is that Dable and Shane in New York are just trying to hold on to their job. And if Deion is there, and he's, talking to the Maras and the buffet line and whatever, maybe he hits it off. And next thing you know, they're already on their way out, but they're sort of expedited out, because it does seem like in the best interest of Deion and the Sanders brand, you would see them do what they did at Jackson State and what they did in Colorado, that they could do it at the next level in the NFL. And I think a lot of teams don't want to deal with that drama. They just want to focus on the player, not the player plus the potential that his dad becomes a coach. So I think he actually had, that's why I say like the negative nepotism thing. I think he had a lot kind of stacked against him to get there. But from here, it's just.
But they fed it. They fed it.
For sure. And I mean, the Bieniemy connection is kind of true too. Like, you don't know what happens in these interviews. And there may be an element of, defiant, like, this applicant is not showing me enough respect. There is some racist track.
It's NFL. You already carrying it.
Just putting it out there.
Of course. It's spewing. Of course. I'm trying to just make that. I'm trying to move the line.
Yeah.
To put it back into the area where Shedeur has agency. To not say, because some will say Cam Ward was the first quarterback. So not to say that it's about race. Right. I'm trying to put it in a place where, which Shedeur said, I don't think this is coaching. I'm excited that I got a chance. He's not about the doubters. He wants to prove to Stefanski, he said, Mr. Barry, that they made a good pick.
Yeah.
Just give him a chance. And the hope is, I looked at the draft prospects. Johnny Manziel was a 6.4. He's not a Johnny.
Yeah.
That he never had the humility. It was all about the Johnny football show.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield was a 6.7. So still in the draft grades, Shedeur should hope to be Baker-like.
Right.
Learn to learn from someone like Flacco, who literally gets called from the couch. And he may, for fantasy, throw 16 touchdowns. He got 8 interceptions, but he's just still throwing darts everywhere.
Yeah.
That's the hope. I don't want to lose your authenticity, lose the love where you had a full party after getting drafted in the 5th round, which may rub people wrong, but enjoy life.
Yeah.
Don't work, man. The humility, they don't want to they don't want to put you down, but have a little show that you can work, show that you can learn, and then let yourself shine. Because that's the point where you can have a little bit more control. That's what I was pushing. The push and pull against a immovable object where he had no agency, no hand.
Right.
Outplayed.
Yeah, and we'll see, but maybe the agency he winds up with is free agency when he's cut loose, in which case maybe he gets signed somewhere. Who knows? It'll be interesting, compelling narratives heading into the late summer when the NFL starts to heat up again, and between now and then, we got plenty of NBA to keep us appetized, and yes, the Mets will continue to dominate.
Mets will be on the roll next time we meet. Congrats on closing out the Pistons, and I'm hoping we can at least get one more game.
We'll see
for the Lakers, but we can't play our starters.
And Jimmy Buckets is healthy, it looks like. So we and you in particular were a big fan of that move when it happened. And meanwhile, Pat Riley may be ready to relinquish the Iron Throne. We'll see.
Heat culture's coming into question. Tyler Hero, after getting stomped, and against the Cavs, said, "I miss Jimmy."
Yeah,
and with that,
we'll wrap it up. Tarlin, nice to see you again. It's nice to get the emergency pod reflex going. Thanks as always for listening.
I'm Team Shedeur. I was a little sick of the circus, but I'm rooting for you, brother.
All right, take it easy.